There is absolutely nothing that substantiate or can justify me having a tether on my leg.
What were you in prison for?
For armed robbery. I used to rob people. I ain't never raped nobody.
Bond. James Bond.
The people of the state of Michigan versus Beyond Hasty. The defendant is charged with counts 1 and 2, criminal sexual conduct, 4th degree. Count 3, police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing. Appearances, please.
Hasty, state your name.
D'Angelo Hasty.
Billy, she has something to say.
The actual conflict in this case is that the victim, who is a minor, she's still in high school. She, it appears, is on a trip with her family. She is going to be not in the state of Michigan, from my understanding, from March 19th, so today, through March 25th. I am asking for an adjournment. I recognize that this is not ideal for the court's purposes and defense counsel's purpose, and the defense is going to be objecting. I just would like to note that I did reach out to defense counsel early last week to let him know about this and to see if there was any way that we could actually move up the exam date so that it would not further inconvenience the court in terms of a time frame perspective, but unfortunately that was not able to be worked out.
Mr. Nelson, is your client in?
My client is out, Judge, but he strenuously objects. You can see he's dressed appropriately. He's taken this matter extremely serious. Was anxious to get this exam underway this Friday. We would strongly object. It seems to me that this young lady knew that there was a court date and chose to leave and go on vacation or a trip. I understand that, but he's ready to go. He wants to go. So we object to any adjournment.
When is the complainant coming back?
Your Honor, I believe they come back into town on Monday, March 25th. I'm not sure of exactly what time they're back in the Metro Detroit area. So I don't know if an afternoon exam would be successful, but they should be available anytime after the 25th.
How long ago was this exam set?
Your Honor, this was set about 2 weeks ago. It took me 3 days to get in touch. 4 days to get in touch with the victim's family through the victim advocate. And then over the weekend, I reached out to defense counsel, letting him know about the conflict. That was 9 days ago that I alerted defense to the conflict.
Right. So when the exam was set, you got in touch with the complaining witnesses and they advised you that they already had a vacation scheduled?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Nelson, are you available March 27th?
Judge, unfortunately, I'm available March 26th, anytime in the afternoon, or March 29th.
March 29th is Good Friday. You'll be here by yourself.
Oh, okay. Some courts are open in the morning. Any time on the 26th in the afternoon, 25th in the afternoon? Judge, if you can start it at 2:30.
How many witnesses, Ms. Moore?
2, Your Honor.
I hate to schedule things that late, but given the circumstances, I'll schedule it on March 27th at 2:30. The court finds good cause for the adjournment and bond will continue.
Judge, one last request. My client has been placed on a tether since his release from the jail. He has a full-time job, very sensitive job, works heavily with the largest police force in the city of Detroit. He's known this family for quite a few years. There's already a no contact condition, which has never been violated, in place. I would ask, Judge, if you could remove the tether for this man. He's been in constant contact with me. We've discussed this matter at length. And in my mind, he's taken this matter extremely seriously. And I would ask that you please remove the tether.
What's the issue with the tether?
Well, Judge, quite frankly, in working with law enforcement and having a tether on, it's just, and I understand it. So not necessarily, it's an inconvenience and it's humiliating.
What does he do with law enforcement?
He works in a tow capacity for the city of Detroit Police Department. Does all their towing.
Ms. Moore?
Your Honor, first of all, I do recognize that I have requested the adjournment in this case. My only concern, Your Honor, is that the defendant was extremely resistant and extremely combative with police officers, that it led to the police officer resisting an obstructing charge. And additionally, he was so resistant that he still has not been fingerprinted because of his behavior in and around the scene and back at the police department. So my concern is that if Mr. Hasty is appearing in court today via Zoom, dressed for court. Maybe there's been a change in behavior, but these charges arose out of a situation where he was not compliant and not doing what officers asked him to do.
Well, Your Honor, I don't want to get into the facts of this case, but there's a reason for all of that. Obviously, this is a very sensitive charge in itself. So yeah, I don't think anybody was ever happy being confronted with a situation where something as this is being said about them that they did this act. Obviously, he was upset. After that, he's acted very appropriately, Judge.
If he works closely with law enforcement, I would think that he would be at least cooperative enough to at least allow them to fingerprint.
Well, Judge, how about if he goes does that, and then you release the tether? Show some good faith.
I'm not really inclined to release the tether. In fact, I'm not sure why the tether even poses a problem. I understand he works with law enforcement, but we're long pants. Who sees the tether?
Your Honor, if he could address the court, I'll just let him speak a few minutes.
Hello?
Yeah, you seem to have a lot to say. What are you trying to say?
I'm sorry, are you addressing me, Judge?
Yes, I am.
Judge, he's asking about the tether, Mr. Hasty.
Okay, yes, the tether, you can see the tether on my leg.
Sir.
There's nothing that I could do to conceal the tether. But more important, may I say just one thing?
Go ahead.
I have a tether on my leg, and I'm being dealt with in as if I'm guilty of something. There is absolutely nothing that substantiate or can justify me having a tether on my leg, working with the police. I work with law enforcement. So law enforcement always knows where I'm at. I have done anything. I'm 53, about to be 53 years old. Ask the prosecutor, why isn't she ready? She should be ready. People can't go on vacations, and my livelihood and my character is at stake here. And they get to go. You can accuse me of raping you, but you can go. Obviously, you're not that concerned, and you're off on vacation. That's not fair to me, Your Honor. It's really not fair. And there is no evidence that we went to Foot Locker. There's no video. The prosecution has not attempted.
All right, Mr. Hasty, you don't want to get into the facts at this point.
I want to get into facts right now. Yeah. Yes, I do.
We're just talking about the tether.
The facts are, this young lady is told a blatant lie. The video at Foot Locker, the detective asked for video from Foot Locker, but didn't ask for video. He didn't ask for video from the Foot Locker inside the Foot Locker, but he asked for video from the parking lot. He never asked for the video. I should never have been arrested. I was in the car asleep. They could have went to Foot Locker, got the video to substantiate this young lady's claim. She's never been at that Foot Locker. Let's get the video. Let's get the phone record. She said she called me over to take her to Foot Locker. In fact, there's no phone call placed to my phone. There's no phone call placed from my phone to her. I stopped by. I used to live at that house. I paid bills at that house. Yes, I stopped by. Yes, I was intoxicated when I stopped by, and I fell asleep. She mad because I didn't buy her no Jordan. And you gonna tell the people that I raped you?
I can understand.
I am livid, Your Honor. I'm livid.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're gonna have to show some self-control here, sir.
I'm having self-control. I'm at home, but I'm upset. Have you ever been accused of being a pedophile, Your Honor? It's very, 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 very. I was in jail for 7 days, sir. I spent 18 years in prison. So for me to go to jail for 7 days after 30 years for this type of charge.
What were you in prison for?
For armed robbery. I used to rob people. I ain't never raped nobody. I spent 18 years. That happened 32 years ago. I've been out 14 years.
So I'm trying to restrain myself from asking more questions, Mr. Nelson.
You can ask me anything, Judge. You can ask me anything you want.
That would not be advisable. Because I want to know, first of all, how old is the young lady we're talking about? Apparently
They say she's 16.
She's 16 years old?
Yes, sir.
First question that arises to my mind is, what are you doing with the 16-year-old?
She's a family member. I've been around her all her life. I wasn't with her, Your Honor. I know her whole family, her grandmother, my grandmother, and her grandmother. That's how far we go back. I've been around all of them, their whole family. I raised her. I raised the grandma. I've been around. I changed their diapers. I'm not no stranger.
Should be a very interesting preliminary examination.
Yes, we can have it right now. You can
Sir,
call her, put them on the phone. There's no excuse for not. Y'all going past my 14 days. I'm supposed to have an exam 14 days of probable cause. Judge.
What?
I've gone past, the prosecutors had plenty of time, Judge.
Yeah, I've heard enough. Violence continue. Thank you, Mr. Nelson.
The Emperor is not as forgiving as I am.
State of Texas versus Sebastian Johnny Castillo. Are you Sebastian Castillo?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You entered a plea on March 30th to count 1, paragraph B, no contest. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 5 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. State is not making any recommendations to your application. There's an affirmative finding of family violence, and then there's to be no contact with several parties. All right. Can you raise your right hand for me?
Yes, Your Honor.
You can lower your hands.
Mr. Castillo, do you want a statement you want to make to the court?
I just like to say I'm sorry to my mom, my brothers and sisters.
How old were you when this happened?
I was 17.
Okay, were there some family dynamics going on in this situation with your step parents and your siblings?
Yes, sir.
What was exactly going on? You recall?
I was being beaten and I got kicked out.
I'm sorry, you were being what?
Beaten. No further questions.
All right. Who are you saying was beating you?
My stepfather.
And where's the proof of this?
Just his, were any police reports made on this?
No.
Well, did he tell the school?
You tell the school you were getting beaten?
I was kicked out and they went to withdraw me at the school and the cop was there, and whenever they were taking me back home, they kicked me out and I was out for 3 days.
No, my question still has not been answered. So he's saying that his stepfather was beating him at the home.
Mhm.
So did he ever report it to the school? That's either yes or no. All right. So where's the proof? Because what I have is I have him going to a home. I have him where they say that he threatened to shoot up the school. That's why the mother called. And then I have him going back to the home and they're saying that he pointed a gun on them.
Judge, I'm saying here that I think what led to this was for some reason, the step parents wanted him out of the situation. He denies that he ever made a threat to shoot up the school. He says that was a false threat. I think they just wanted him out of the house. When this happened, you were actually living with your grandparents. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And if you get probation, that's who you would live with?
Yes, sir.
And when this happened, you were what, 17?
Yes, sir.
And do you do any alcohol or drugs?
No, sir.
Now, according to the police report, it says S1 and S2. S1 grabbed a handsaw, and you're S1. It says S1 grabbed a handsaw and attempted to saw through the lock to the gun safe. S1 then found a grinder and cut through the lock. S1 and S2 grabbed multiple guns from the safe and gathered them together. The cousins who went with S1 were waiting outside the laundry room with guns in their hands. S1 and S2 also gathered other listed items as well. Victim 3, 4, and 5 were all sitting in the living room sofa. Victim 3 said that S1 and S2 went into the living room and kitchen and had some of the guns pointing at them. S1 told Victim 3 to shut the F up or he will shoot them. S1 and S2, along with S1's cousins, left the location with all the items he took. Once they left the location, V3, which is victim, locked the doors. Victim 2 arrived shortly after and called out to Victim 3 to open the door. That was when Victim 3 told Victim 2 what happened. Victim 2 then called Victim 1, who called the police to make a report. So, anybody want to address that? Because Victim 3 is a juvenile. Victim 4 is a juvenile. Victim 5 is a juvenile. So
You're shaking your head.
No, none of
Are you
that
saying
happened.
you didn't take these items?
No, ma'am.
I mean, it's what you pled to. All right. Is there anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, I'll hear argument.
Judge, at the time of the incident, the defendant was 17 years old. It typically it sounds like it was a family dispute matter. Allegations are of guns being pointed, no shots were fired. It's evident that the parents and stepmother and stepfather do not want him in the location. That's not a problem. He's young. He's got his whole life ahead of him. I think he realizes he made a mistake in that situation. Maybe his anger being removed from the family caused him to kind of have a moment of basically being stupid.
And see, I can understand his position if there were people in the home where this was not their stepfather as well. So this is what the court is going to do. Court is going to find you guilty, sentence you to 5 years in prison. There's to be no contact. They're asking for $45,000 in restitution. The court has nothing before it to suggest that restitution should be $45,000, and no information on restitution has been presented to the court. So the court is not ordering restitution. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you. I know we're off the record. I know you're young, and 5 years seems like a lot of time.
Yes.
Time does go by quickly, but you need to start bettering yourself. If there is some type of mental health issue going on, or some other issue that you have, drug issue, or some type of trauma that you've suffered, you can ask for help and they will give it to you. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you.
Welcome back to my channel. And if you are new, that wasn't for you, but this is Welcome to Off the Record, where I select the best court cases where the judges give the best lessons to the criminals out there in the US of A. I also cut out all of the court record mandatory statements that the judge has to read into the record, so you end up watching only the good stuff, as I want my subscribers that give me their time for that time to be worth it. So, please subscribe and let's go learn a lesson off the record. Please click on the episode on screen now.